Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Real Men of Real Estate. My name's Dan Reddig. Today you'll find us on KCAA radio at 106.5 FM or 1050 AM out of Redlands. Today I've got Tim and Alex with me to talk about their getting started in apartment investing. I think this is kind of the new big niche in real estate, and we're seeing a lot of people start here instead of starting with flipping or wholesaling or some of the other strategies that you've heard me talk about in the past. So I think this is a unique take, and I'm really excited to have you guys here. So thanks for being here, and we can start to kind of dig into your story.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Dan. Good to be
You're
here.
welcome. Right on. So Alex and I spoke about this just earlier this week and having you guys on the show. So Alex, why don't you just kind of tell us a little bit about you and maybe what led to real estate?
Yeah, well, yeah, thanks again for having us, Dan.
You're welcome.
You and I met, obviously, or not obviously, I guess for listeners, but at the SCCIA San Diego RIA, and that was year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's almost a couple years ago now. Yeah. So for our audience, what is a RIA?
Real Estate Investors Association.
Okay.
Where you go to network with like-minded investors, and this is smack dab in the middle of the pandemic. So the first meeting I actually ever joined, I was thinking about house hacking here in San Diego. The first one I joined was a Zoom event, and it was
I remember that. Yep.
And it was I think it was like a doers kind of like check-in, kind of accountability type of call.
Mm-hmm.
It was me, you, and Marie. Basically, that was that was it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
And I think I had questions about how to manage contractors at the time. But that was pretty much the start of my real estate journey and how we got acquainted. And a few months later, I met Tim also through the RIA, and now we're working on buying big old apartments.
Right on. So what did you do before you started down this road?
Yeah, so just to take it back a little bit, I'm from San Diego, as is Tim, and grew up in North Park, for our San Diego listeners, born and raised. And went to the Pro School UCSD, which is a charter school on the campus UCSD. It's designed for kids whose parents didn't go to college, but were relatively ambitious. You know, they made us wear uniforms.
Oh, wow.
And all that kind of stuff. I liked it. I didn't have to think about what I had to wear and stuff like that. And from there, I actually went to Harvard, graduated in 2015 with a degree in political science, and moved to Washington, D.C. with the aspirations of working on the Hill and
wow,
shoulders with politicians and, just being of service, really. I was always interested in that stuff.
Impressive.
No, thank you. And I quickly realized that, you gotta have to have money to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
That money or a wild amount of connections, even outside of just school. And I became jaded very quickly. So was talking with different people in my life, and one of my mentors told me that I should try sales and business development. So at 21 years old, I found myself in a cold calling shop, just calling B2B,
mm-hmm.
Essentially on behalf of B2B software products.
That's a powerful skill to develop.
I didn't know it at the time. I have a younger brother who's around that age right now, and I'm just telling him, just try a little bit of everything until you figure out what you're good at, or what you want to do. And if you have more forethought than that, then kudos to you. You did it better than me. But
fair enough.
Yeah, I got very lucky, found sales. And once you make enough money, you start thinking about different investing vehicles, and real estate just keeps popping up. I read that was one of the biggest belief changers for me, and that is a very common theme up to this point in my journey, is breaking limiting beliefs for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And saw what was possible and just said, there's a bunch of people who are millionaires off real estate, and I know I could, bust my butt to get to wherever I need to go. So I figured I could provide some value and get in the game. So that's why. And then fast forward to the house hack. So when I moved back from Washington D.C. to San Diego, was exploring where to put my money. House hacking, bigger pockets was all the rage and made a lot of sense to me from that perspective. And joining the RIA and never look back essentially. So that's kind of how we got into it.
Wow. That's fascinating. I didn't know all of that about you. That's a really cool story. Cool. But Tim, tell us about you. What did you do before? How'd you get here?
Yeah, so I've had a little bit more of an adventurous background. So Alex went a little bit more of the educational route and more traditional and corporate work. And then I actually, graduated high school, didn't actually even go to my walking graduation. I went straight to Alaska, lived there for a year and a half working for the oil companies, and
That's
then
pretty
came
fantastic.
back. Yeah, yeah. It was definitely a change being in the Alaska winter versus San Diego. After that, I was a firefighter for 5 years, and I was actually contracting on military bases overseas. So I was in Africa for a year and a half. I was in the Marshall Islands for about a year. And then after that finished, I came back to San Diego and started doing construction. And for the last 10 years, I've been in the construction industry. And I just recently got my general contracting license, which is more or less not my focus at the moment, but it's something, something that I wanted to just tack on to my credentials.
Wow, fascinating. So why real estate for you? What was the draw? Especially as an investor now, I can see how you got into it in construction. So why'd you switch sides, I guess?
Yeah, so good question. When I was in the Marshall Islands, I had been able to save up quite a big savings account, and I ended up putting 50% down on a property in Dallas, which I still own today. And I closed in 2014 on that property, and I've
Good
had that
time. All
property.
right.
It really was a great time.
That
I
was a great time.
couldn't have timed it better. So the appreciation on that property, just seeing that over the 8 years and the cash flow that comes from it was just made me a believer in real estate just firsthand. And for years and years, even while I was doing the construction, I knew that I wanted to be more entrepreneurial and be purchasing real estate and being able to live a little bit, have more passive income. And I really didn't know how to do it. I didn't know, I wasn't educated in that. I didn't have the network or the capability to just go out and do it myself. So, really joining the RIAs and just getting connected with other people that know what they're doing was super valuable.
Got it. No, I totally appreciate that. Pretty fantastic. So you guys have both decided to get into, well, you guys met at our subgroup for apartment investing, multifamily real estate, really. And so why that? Why multifamily? Why not do more buy and holds? Why not do some flipping, Airbnbs?
I'll let you go first on that, Tim.
Sure. So there's quite a few reasons. And actually, I would say that the more cookie cut or the more traditional syndication route for apartment investing is more of the 3 to 5 year holds where you're buying it, using other people's money, and then selling it. But we are kind of a little bit of a unique strategy in where we are wanting to buy and hold and do a smaller a joint venture on properties. But specifically the asset class compared to single family just has way better economies of scale. So, having more units in one location, property management can do things for cheaper. And, you're obviously you're having less land than having a bunch of quarter acre single family properties. So it's a better way to scale a business. And the transactional side of single family takes up a lot of time.
It's true. It really does.
Yeah. So that's really our draw on that for the most part.
All right. And so you've got your rental in Dallas. And have you owned any other real estate, maybe besides maybe a personal residence?
Actually, yeah. So last year was really my go time on switching from construction. I haven't done a construction job for almost a year and a half, and I was focusing all my time on commercial real estate, educating, networking, just building the business and raising capital. And I ended up getting on a project that we just purchased in Kansas City. It's a 143 unit hotel.
Wow.
And We're in the process right now of transitioning that from a hotel to an apartment. So
I love that
it's
strategy to death, by the way. I've been fascinated by it.
yeah, since COVID happened and all this change with office space
Yeah,
and hotels, I mean, it just decimated the hospitality industry. And this specific asset that we purchased was appraised in 2019 for 13 million, and we got it for 7.6.
whoa,
So I mean,
whoa.
it feels like a pretty nice like built-in equity play on that end. So we're really happy and feel like, we're turning this underused asset into something that's really helpful for the community, and actually is going to provide a affordable living for people in the area.
Now that's pretty fantastic. So just what got you into the hotels? Because I know that's a completely different thing, even though it's multifamily. That's not a strategy that everybody's even heard of.
It's true. So I actually was connected with a team that specializes in specifically hotel conversions only. They had been doing multifamily and apartment investing, syndicating apartments for many years, and they just saw the way that the cap rates and the demand for multifamily housing was just so much higher and higher, and they were getting less into returns. So they wanted to switch their strategy from investing in something so competitive into something that was going to allow for higher returns.
I
And
see.
they had done 5 projects previously, and I just felt like the team was experienced and skilled enough for me to be partner with them and feel confident in their ability to execute. You really got to believe in what you're trying to sell to investors, and I just felt that I was really passionate about their project.
Wow. All right. That's absolutely fascinating. Cool. Well, we'll get more into the details after a commercial break here. Thanks for being here, you guys. It's fantastic, Alex, to hear more about your story. Tim, get to know you a little better. And I'm super excited to talk to you guys more about the multifamily strategies and raising money to try and get into those. I think that's maybe what most people are kind of worried about, trying to get into larger assets. So thanks for being here, guys. Real Men of Real Estate will be back here on KCAA Radio after these messages.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about, so join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Most mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station kcaaradio.com.
You can find us on your dial at 102.3 FM, 1050 AM, as well as 106.5 FM. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Real Men of Real Estate here on KCAA Radio. I'm your host, Dan Rettig, on this Sunday at 1, and I have with me Alex and Tim from Park City Properties telling us about how they got into multifamily, kind of strategies they like. So before we went on commercial break, Tim, you were telling us about a hotel conversion to multifamily that you were working on. And there's a lot more going on there kind of than it meets the eye. So that was a kind of a critical project for you to get into, and you did it in a non-standard way. So really, why that property? What was different?
Yeah, so that's a pretty big question to answer. And so
Okay.
really, I will just say that the team being able to execute and having the experience to be able to and credibility to be able to execute on any project is, in my opinion, the key. So aligning yourself with the proper operator that knows what they're doing, that you can have 100% assurance that they're able to pivot and
So
navigate.
what is an operator?
An operator is somebody that's in control of an asset. So, the person that's the one in charge of making the decisions.
Okay, so a general partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's right. So this asset was very uniquely positioned in a way that looked exactly like an apartment already from the outside, and just had the feel of an apartment, and that saves so much in terms of us needing to renovate to make it look like an apartment rather than a hotel. So it's just a big donut shaped property, 3 stories high, and has all the 143 units in one building.
Got it.
And the property was located in a really good area that we really liked, an A-class area. That's kind of like I guess if you're familiar with San Diego, it'd be kind of like the North County San Diego, like Carlsbad-ish feel. So just, yeah, aligning myself, trying to get my foot in the door. So at that point, I had only had one single family property, and I just was networking and trying to connect with people that I could align myself with. So just getting on board with this project and just doing everything I could to just push as much value as I could possibly give to this team to be able to, make an impact and help them get to where they needed to go. And I ended up actually spending 2 months on the property, which I wasn't originally planning to do. Something fell through on their end, and they needed me to go there and help with the asset management. So that was really helpful, and
Wow.
luckily I had the flexibility to do that.
So you weren't a limited partner in this deal.
So I actually am a limited partner and a general partner.
And a general partner. Okay.
Yeah.
So just for a quick second, tell our audience kind of how these things are structured and what is a limited partner and why.
Yeah, so with syndications, you have a management side of the team that owns a certain portion. It's very commonly a 30% of the whole ownership of the property. So the common terminology would be a 70-30 split or a 80-20 split, something like that. So the people that are actually doing the management that helped acquire the property, raise capital, asset management, operations, all of that, we own 30% of this property. And then we raised capital. We raised about 4.2 million for this project, and those people that brought the capital to the table are limited partners. So we're able to pass on depreciation to them we're able to give them all the benefits of the commercial real estate, like owning the commercial real estate versus something like a real estate investment trust. But they actually don't have liability like the general partners. So they're limiting their liability, but getting the benefits of ownership.
Okay, got it. All right. And so what were you doing on site then? If you're limited partner, general partner, and you're mixing roles, how did that end up playing out? What were your responsibilities additional?
So, yeah. So this property was actually one of 7 that the previous owner had in the area, and he was using this asset as a storage unit kind of. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, there was about 50 of the units that were packed full of material, construction material, old furniture. And so I went there and with another partner, and we inventoried every item that we were going to remove and dispose of, and then took pictures of everything to document it. And we were originally planning on moving that to another hotel because there was over $1 million of the items that we ended up getting rid of.
Wow.
And that way we could take that and give it to be able to write off depreciation and give it back to our investors. But that was one of the main reasons that I went down there. And then the other is I had a demo crew demoing 46 units that were unrenovated.
Taking advantage of your construction experience, no doubt.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's a big process, and we're still in the process of getting those units up and ready, but the permitting process takes a little bit of time. And so we still need to get some permitting checked off and everything for that.
Wow. All right. So that's a pretty huge project, and you're very involved, it sounds like. So, Alex, could you contrast that a little bit with how things work typically for someone investing in multifamily, especially as a limited partner?
Yeah, there's so many takeaways from that part of Tim's story. One of the reasons why we love multifamily is that you can focus on the aspects of the business that you're good at and team up with other high performers in the other aspects of the business and get things done, get bigger things done rather. And, me starting off with a house hack here in San Diego was awesome because I could buy, I had the intention to buy a multifamily because I wanted the experience of property management, earning the right. I always had larger aspirations, but I wanted to earn the right to even go down that path. And what I realized after a 2-month renovation process, we renovated the whole. It's here in Logan Heights. If anybody knows, in San Diego, we used to be pretty ghetto, but now
it's a little different now.
Yeah, it's good now. It's good now. What I realized was I was sitting on the couch at the end of that summer, and I was like, wow, I turned 2 units, turned a duplex into a triplex. It was like a $70,000 renovation budget, plus down payment. Basically, it was, all I had at the time. And it's like, man, now I have 3 units. I did all that work for 3 units, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. Never again. So if my takeaway at the time was, if I had aspirations to go larger, then what is the next step? And from there, we just started going to local RIAs. I started learning more about the kind of commercial space overall, and figured out that I can do acquisitions, maybe investor relations, raise money, and if I were to have a partner, it would need to be somebody who could handle more of the asset management. Construction side, enter Tim.
So you're going to leverage your sales background and
I kept asking people. Lisa Schaefer, also I met through the RIA. I asked her, it was in December. I said, hey, I'm in software sales. What's my superpower in real estate? And she said, I think you could do acquisitions. And I really focused in on there. And fundamentally, if you think about, you don't really hire an on-site, just for people's reference, there's different levels of multifamily. The larger you go, the more staff you need. You might need somebody who stays on site past 50 or 60 units full time. But under that, it's effectively the same math. If you have the deal, the property, you analyze the income and expenses, you have reasonable comps, you have the debt, okay, which was a huge part of my story and how I was able to cash flow my San Diego property after only 2 months.
And that's impressive, by the way.
Yeah, it ended up being a great home run. My intention was only to make, hit a single, I think, as Brandon Turner would say, in bigger pockets. But the rent was going crazy. It was during pandemic. I also got crazy low interest rate. So that, combined with doing some things creatively on the renovation side, we did well.
Yep, seize the opportunity. Good timing, because you created that, though.
Yeah, it was certainly good timing. And but yeah, the math is fundamentally the same. It's not more difficult. I try to keep things as simple as possible. I often tell Tim, it's like, hey, if we were operating a lemonade stand, okay, how would we do this differently? So on the raising money front, we can get to that in a second. But if we need to attract people, it's effectively the same thing as attracting new prospects or new customer acquisition. You got to get out there, have to have a clear story about why what you're doing is good and why people should join you. And we like cash flow. So cash flow equals happy real estate investors. And typically more multifamily means more cash flow. It's that simple.
Wow. All right. That's quite a, I'm surprised how similar single family is, actually. But still so different from what Tim did in the hotel deal, where it's not about the cash flow, it's about getting involved and getting his hands dirty. So
and I know we can get into it in a second about how newer people can get into multifamily, but I just asked everybody who was way more advanced than me. I just asked a lot of questions. How did you do it? What regrets do you have? What would you do differently? And I kept running into people who were repeat offenders of being limited partners, LPs.
Yeah.
Meaning that they had money and to invest and they want to get a return on that money, but they're telling me they have aspirations to own themselves. And I was 27 years old at the time, having my first property, and I was like, well, how can you get into it yourself? And in my mind, sacrifice, it's still time. You're still spending time either way. So might as well spend the time doing the thing that you want to do. And I was searching for a way to be a small percentage GP and just learn from an experienced operator. And Tim was executing that story as we were kind of getting to know each other a little bit better. And that's the mindset. Sacrifice short-term money now to start learning skills. You need, and by now, I mean, wherever you are in the journey, it doesn't matter your age. We have people who are 10 years younger than us who are like 5, 10, 20x more successful than us. So it's not about your age. It's about where you're starting. Focus on the skills you want to develop. And then, unless you need money tomorrow, then you should do something else. But if you don't need money tomorrow, then focus on the skills and go from there.
That's something you can do maybe part-time, and while you demonstrate that you can do things, you can try and trade for mentorship, I guess.
That's how we started.
Yeah, that's pretty great. All right, well, we got to take a commercial break here, folks. So we'll be back here at KCAA Radio after these messages. Thanks for listening.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio Talk Show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about. So join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Hello! Welcome to Fire Up Connect. Are you a small business owner? Do you lack the resources to manage your business? Is visibility and brand awareness a top priority for you? Fire Up Connect is a community of small business owners. We help our members find the right connections and the right resources to help them be successful. This isn't your typical business networking group. Members of Fire Up Connect are innovative, driven, and all about building long-lasting relationships. We work to identify your goals and understand what it is you do and how we can help you brand yourself and your business. Fire Up Connect is about creating business opportunities, community projects, educational sessions, and live seminars to help implement effective marketing programs for our members. Fire Up Connect helps members gain validation in their businesses, learn what challenges similar business leaders are facing, and access to subject matter experts on how to overcome these challenges. Fire Up Connect offers opportunities for organic exposure through our many marketing events, programs, and projects. There are 4 colors that make up Fire Up Connect. Yellow represents the back office and services available to Fire Up Connect members. Red represents Fire Up Connect's marketing and advertising resources, such as TV shows, radio, magazine book publication, and movie projects. Green represents Fire Up Connect's referral system, tracking incentives. And blue represents Fire Up Connect's donation, fundraising, and scholarship programs. Fire Up Connect members have access to monthly business sessions, price discounts on affiliated companies, and all Fire Up Connect programs, book publications, published articles for your business, access to Fire Up Connect scheduled webinar events, a photo shoot session, and a video production. Join us for our annual Fire Up Live seminars and gain valuable connections in the Fire Up community and boost your business. We believe in your business. We believe in what you do. At Fire Up Connect, we believe in you. Join us for our annual Fire Up Live seminars to gain, discover, and get fired up.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate Radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station KCAA radio.com.
You can find us on your dial at 102.3 FM, 1050 AM, as well as 106.5 FM. Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Real Men of Real Estate here on KCAA Radio. I'm your host, Dan Reddig. I'm here with Alex and Tim, and we just got done talking about really what is multifamily and your Tim's hotel deal. So it seems like a good time to really dig into how, did your strategy start? Because I know things have changed and nothing is static. So how did you guys initially expect your business to look?
Sure. So yeah, originally our plan was to just buy apartment buildings and just try to get in wherever we could. Like I said, with the hotel conversion that I did, just aligning with operators and beginning to get some credibility and some experience in it. And it has really, day to day changed as we learn, as we network, as we learn about new systems and educate ourselves. And it's an ever-changing strategy. We're always fine-tuning it to be more efficient with our time and to just always level up. But I would say that after doing the hotel conversion and all the education and connections we made through that, it really showed us that, having 5% ownership in a general partnership on a project where you're kind of compartmentalizing the work, one person's doing asset management and one person's doing raising capital. So there's a lot of people involved in these big projects, these big syndications, and you don't always get to be able to be part of every single thing, seeing it from beginning to end. So Alex and I, when we were communicating about, hey, what do we want to do next? What's our strategy to be able to really understand and how to operate multifamily and really be people who execute on business plans and make their investors money? And we decided that scaling back and doing some joint ventures. If you're not familiar with what a joint venture is, this is where a couple of investors or a couple of people come together with the same mindset, and they're all active on the project and doing things, for the day-to-day process. So we decided we'd like to scale it back, purchase properties that are smaller, like between 10 and 50 units. And we changed the strategy from looking for traditional financing where you need to have, 25, 30, 35% down nowadays, especially with the way the interest rates have gone and the banks being more risk averse. We've switched to a more creative finance strategy where we're looking for properties that are seller financed, that people that own them outright, and where we're able to negotiate debt terms and make it favorable for them and favorable for us. And we're super laser focused on this strategy and very excited about it.
Are you still working with limited partners for maybe down payment or some construction funding or anything like that?
So we definitely are building relationship with people that want to be limited partners at some point, and we do see ourselves doing syndications and scaling our business, because at some point when the property is $10 million and you need $3 million, usually just there's not one person or two people that brings the $1 million, a couple million. So we definitely are building a relationship with them, and there's opportunity for limited partners to invest with us at some point, maybe in the near future, maybe in a year or two on a syndication. But for now, we really need some people that believe in real estate already, that are active and want to learn how to actually purchase and operate multifamily with us.
Okay.
And I'll just add to that in that, Tim and I want to do this forever. And we both knew that when we met at a Saturday class for multifamily, meeting from 9 to 2, and we kept coming back. It's like, okay, we're crazy enough to keep doing this. So, what do we really want to do? And we had a vision for how big we wanted to be. And then we started asking ourselves questions. Tony Robbins has said, who's like a de facto mentor of mine from afar, but has said that your quality of your life will often be the quality of your questions will dictate the quality of your life. So once we decided and had a vision for what we wanted to do, the question was, well, what constraints do we currently have to get into where we want to go? And one of the most glaring ones was money. So with that answer, we sought ways to provide value to the marketplace such that money would flow our way. If you were able to break the limiting belief that money is limited, which I had all growing up, as broke as I did. Once you have an abundance mindset, you're like, okay, so what do I have to do to then go earn that money? And for us, it was focusing on skills. And I would ask syndicators like 2,000, 3,000 assets under management or units under management, what's your biggest business challenge? And again and again and again, it would be, we don't have enough deals to present to our investors. So that's
definitely not the problem I thought that you were going to say. Impressive. All right.
And, somebody said, we have a great investor list. They trust us. We have credibility with them because we've made them money in the past. But we need to bring them deals every 3 or 6 months. Otherwise, they'll get disinterested or, go somewhere else with their money, which blew my mind. And I know deal finding, everything from wholesaling up is about deal finding. So that's when we had a binary, decision, a fork in the road to ruminate on. Do we small percentage syndicate again, or go down that path, or large percentage JV? I think your equity will grow faster as a JV. You have more control, all those reasons.
So what is a JV?
JV is joint venture. So it's you and a couple people go in on a house or a property together. Okay. Or really, you can JV anything in business. But once we decided that, we knew we kept asking questions. It really was what it was. Okay, what do we have to do next? Okay, what if this happens? Arguably too many questions. And there's no such thing as dumb questions, but they're
right. But how did you ask the questions so that these more successful investors, who are busy people, paid attention to you?
Man, okay, so
that is where the rubber meets the road.
Tim touched on it. Creative finance. Okay, creative financing is a strategy that we fell upon because we asked the question: how can we afford a 30-unit property? And we just didn't think we could raise all that money on the first go with no credibility. That's the thing.
Yeah.
What you have that more experienced investors don't is time. How are you using your time to educate yourself to be credible to those people? And we weren't fake credible. We were real credible. I listened to, I don't know how many hundreds, if not thousands of hours of Bigger Pockets episodes at the gym while my renovation project was going. I was still listening to Bigger Pockets. And eventually when I found multifamily, I had to only focus on multifamily type podcasts. So we knew what we were talking about because we spent so much time in the game, in the pocket, and also asking other people.
So you narrowed your focus though very, very carefully on purpose, right? To be good at just one thing. I think that's just really important to point out to the listeners. Shiny object syndrome being what it is.
And it's oh man, we talk about shiny objects every day. We want short-term rentals. We want self-storage. Self-storage is crazy. Almost no money it costs, and you just chill on cash flow. But we can get there eventually. You don't want to be building if you've heard the analogy of building bridges away from islands or an island, you build so many bridges that never get finished. Eventually, you just die. So we can do it all. We just can't do it all at the same time. And I'll just say, for me, math gives me a lot of confidence. So once I understood the numbers, I could speak intelligently to other more experienced investors and ask them those questions. Plus, I come from B2B sales, which is all about understanding people's pain and business problems. So that was always a part of the business that fascinated me. Just a quick note on the math. If you can do basic arithmetic, you can do multifamily. I mean, you're copying and pasting things into an Excel sheet, which eventually a robot will be able to do for me. What will separate you is my hypothesis is your ability to make judgments, because everybody has the same profit and loss statement when you're analyzing a deal. We all have the same T12, but the more experienced investors will know this is not quite right. This is jumping out to us. So just like if I looked at your personal life and your balance sheet, I could kind of tell where you are financially or where you're headed in your life. The same thing that is true of the story behind a rental property, whether it's a single family home or a 100-unit complex. So and I'm also paying for education. I just have to say that paying for education to get all this stuff, whether in time or in money, if you have a little bit of money to pay for it, is super helpful. So I don't know how much time we have. I do want to touch on creative financing real quick.
Go for it. Yeah, we have time.
Okay, so the benefits of creative financing is you essentially get into a deal with a much lower entry fee than you would traditional. Also, we're not bankable. We're not that bankable right now. So if we went to a bank and said, hey, we want to buy a 50-unit property, what can you get us? Or they would laugh us out because we don't have the funds.
So this is where the creative part comes in, and this is why anybody can do it. I think that's really important to say to the listeners right now.
Absolutely.
Seriously. Anybody can do it. And there's already Excel sheets online, like multifamily financial calculators that you can download or pay for. We use the Michael Blanc syndicated deal analyzer as a starting point. It's $150 on his website. Some of the best $150 I spent last year. And we've tweaked it for our own model. But the point is, not only is creative financing beneficial because it's lower entry fee, you don't have to go through the banks, no, massive credit checks. You're working directly with the seller often, if not the broker. But overall, look at the interest rate environment right now. How many deals can you buy unless you're mad wealthy and super bank? You can't buy that many. So we're combining what everybody knows is valuable inherently in multifamily. We don't need to sell people why multifamily is great, with the creative financing strategy, which has a slight barrier to entry because not a lot of people know about it. It seems complicated because math. It's not, I'm sure, trust me. And so we're combining those strategies to get in at our stage of our careers. We feel like it's an incredible strategy to deploy. And that's part of the reason why we want a JV as well, is because we can work directly with the seller with these smaller kind of or medium size multifamily.
So this ties really directly into what you said earlier, in that deal finding is kind of the magic sauce, and you're taking deal finding and combining it with a little bit of creativity to work with the existing owners, or maybe a JV, someone who's got experience but not also big time yet, who can kind of fill in these other roles. So you're putting a team together, whether it's the existing property owner or other people, so all you need to focus on is finding the deal.
Just really quickly, I spoke with an engineer yesterday. Tim and I did. He's 50 years old in New Jersey, has 24 units to his name, but only bought the whole portfolio himself over time. And he wants to get into larger multifamily. And for him, he has a lot of money and not a lot of time. He has kids. He should probably take the Tim route and be a smaller percentage, but be a GP ownership, actually learn the game from somebody who's experienced. So again, it depends on what your constraints are. Just ask good questions and you'll get good answers.
Well, we'll talk more about that when we come back after these messages. Stay tuned, folks.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental property, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about, so join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services, including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing, and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station KCAA radio.com.
You can find us on your dial at 102.3 FM, 1050 AM, as well as 106.5 FM. Welcome back to the Real Men of Real Estate here on KCAA Radio. We're 106.5 FM and 1050 AM on your dial. We've been talking about kind of how do you get into this? What does deal structure look like? What is multifamily? It's a lot more accessible, it sounds like, than maybe people think. So if someone who doesn't have some experience, really wants to get started in this, really, how does that get going? Like, how can you get some momentum?
Yeah, this is very, this was not a long ago process, and we're kind of still in that right now. So I would say the couple of things that we did and that we're still doing and that we recommend is joining masterminds, joining mentorships, finding a mentor that has done or wants to do what, or is doing or has done what you want to do. But most importantly, I truly believe that mindset is absolutely the most important. I mean, if you have the goal, but just kind of in the back of your mind are always feeling and thinking that you can't make it happen, or you're not good enough for it to happen, or you're not going to be able to execute on it, then it really is not going to happen. I mean,
you'll make it true, basically.
Yeah, like subconsciously, just you're going to sabotage yourself. And I mean, there's so many ways to work on mindset and self-worth and other things like that to be able to execute and mentally and have the capacity to just be able to do what you want to do. There's countless books on that, and maybe we can touch on a few of those in a few minutes.
Okay.
I also think it's helpful to hear stories of other people who have done it. There's a great episode on Bigger Pockets. I think it's their most viewed of all time. A 21-year-old kid named Cody Davis. It says 21-year-old buys 81 units. You listen to that story, and how can it not break your limiting belief, however old you are? So once you believe once you know it's possible, then you can go attack it. The reason why a lot of kids, they just want to be, basketball players or hoopers or football players or entertainers is because we don't know anything else. We don't know
what we see, right?
So first, see more things. If you already know that stuff is possible, then see more things of people who are like you that you believe you could actually do. And then from there, it's about how do I get the skills to then provide value to the marketplace and keep going.
All right. So how did you do that? What was your kind of maybe just a little bit of insight into your personal journey? Like what steps did you go through developing that mindset?
If I had to do any industry, and I was kind of in this mind space, like what do I do next? Because I knew I was going to be in sales forever. It doesn't matter what industry or what profession, you need to educate yourself. And the faster you can educate yourself with the highest quality of education in that space, then the faster you'll go. People will pay $150,000 for an MBA, which is great. I'm still considering it, but they won't spend $5,000 on a mastermind. It doesn't make sense. And if you don't have money, then find people who do have money and give your time to tell them, hey, I'll work for you for free so that I can get education. Education is very big.
It sounds like maybe podcast was how you started your education.
Podcasts, yeah, constantly. I have friends who hate audio content at all. Watch YouTube. If you hate visual content, you're nuts, but it's okay. Read books. You get all those, talk to people. Just get a lot of reps in those high quality activities. Just get a lot of reps. And if you're not doing it, then something else is blocking you. Just a quick story before I throw it over to Tim. My older sister is a rheumatologist. She's a doctor. My big brother's a mechanical engineer. I'm like, how do my parents do this? Birth these crazy successful kids. And I came on the one answer. It's their confidence. It's the belief in themselves that they could do anything. And one thing that I love about Tim is he had that confidence from day one. The way he was talking, I'm like, man, he actually believes he can do anything. And I don't have any kids yet. I have a couple nieces and nephews, so maybe it's just top of mind for me. If you can give your kids anything, give them confidence and give them self-worth.
That's amazing. Tim, do you have anything to add to that?
Like he was saying, I mean, the just joining, I think for me, the first thing that I did was joining a mastermind and surrounding myself with other like-minded people that are actually doing deals like daily. They're constantly working at it. So just surrounding yourself with the community, with people that are focusing on doing what you're doing and have done already what you want to do, I think it's like you're just absorbing that kind of what is it? The energy of the people around you. I mean,
you learn to mimic their mindset and their attitude, and it's possible for you too.
Definitely.
Okay. Any tools that you use to do that for yourself? I know it sounds, Alex kind of makes it sound like you naturally fell into this, but you've worked at it. Is there any particular tool or process you went through to kind of help build that up?
Specific tool, I think just scheduling, being really diligent and scheduling your time and using your time efficiently and
so
maybe consistency.
Yeah, consistency.
Always executing.
Yeah, for our metrics-based people, track yourself number of meetups you go to per month, number of conversations with investors I'm having per week. If you're not doing those things, it's a leading indicator that you're not going to progress as fast. And we didn't track it, but if you want to be very specific, that's what it was. We're getting so many reps to get these people or in the room with these people who have the right mindset. And also podcasts count. And also books count. Imagine how long it takes somebody to have the information to write a book. It's like all the best.
Tremendous. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, it sounds like you've read 12-Week Year.
I haven't, but I'll
haven't. Okay. So leading indicators and how you turn that into a schedule. It's powerful. I think you'd love it. So you guys have gotten all this set up. You're rolling. So what's next, really? What are you working on?
Yeah, so our next project is we're looking for a 10 to 50 unit property in Arizona. Why Arizona? Well, everybody loves Arizona. It has great market fundamentals. We think things are going on discount right now. A lot of people moved there during COVID. They're now moving away. But it's typically a boom and bust market, especially centered around Phoenix. So if you have a 10 to 50 unit in Arizona, please contact us. And we're also looking for partners. If you like our mindset and like kind of our vision of we want more control and that kind of stuff, then please reach out to us, and I'll throw it to Tim to give our info. So my cell phone number, you can reach out to us via cell 619-277-9958.
Yeah, so best way to contact me, you can send me a text at 760-402-3013. And if you want to email us, our email is info@cityparkproperties.com, and our website is also cityparkproperties.com. So yeah, check us out online, and don't hesitate to reach out if you're looking for wanting to just connect to understand how to do it better. If you want to talk, if you're looking to potentially partner with us, whatever it is, we're happy to talk.
Yeah,
all right. Thanks a lot, guys. It was a fantastic conversation, super enlightening. I know you both, and I've learned so much. If folks want to come and meet you in person, you guys are at SDCA's monthly meeting occasionally, the second Tuesday of every month. You can check us out there at sdcia.com and come learn how to get started, meet like-minded people and get started yourself. So
and thanks for what you do, Dan, and you practically brought us together. So thank you for all that and appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure. All right, folks, thanks for listening today, and we'll see you next month on third Sunday at 1 p.m. on the Real Men of Real Estate.
Missed something today, yesterday, last week? Check out our podcasts at www.kcaaradio.com.